Today we're talking about filing Daca, right? That's the news that we're focusing on today. We've been filing Daca this entire year ever since the Fifth Circuit decision. How does it relate to ICE? What's the future of Daca look like to USCIS? If you haven't filed yet, should you file? How to file? The requirements. We're going to talk about all of that. Hopefully, it helps you kind of make a decision on how to process your case. Let's just talk a little bit about Daca recipients, right? For the longest time, people couldn't file new applications. They can only renew, they can only file for employment authorization, but if you haven't filed your initial application, these lawsuits have stayed. But since this year, after this decision in January, we filed new Daca applications. And how fast do we get a receipt?
It usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks to get a filing receipt, and then you officially have a case number. With that case number, it proves that you have a pending application with the government. With this administration, I think it's so important to keep in mind that whatever you can do, whatever is available for you, you should try to do it and get it together just so that the government can see, you know, I'm trying my best, I'm doing what I can, this is all I can do for now.
But you don't get a biometrics appointment.
Correct. They don't process the application because that's essentially what they said. We will continue to accept, but we will not adjudicate.
So this lawsuit in Texas allows everyone outside of Texas to still file new initial Daca applications. There's still so many people who haven't done it. And so right now we are encouraging everyone, if you have the ability now to file, you qualify for it, file it.
So you need to be under 31 years of age as of June 15, 2012. So it doesn't matter how old you are now, as long as you were under the age of 31 as of June 15, 2012. You must have come to the U.S. Before your 16th birthday. So even if it's 1 day before and you can prove if you entered on a tourist visa or any other type of a status, as long as you can prove that you were under 16, then you qualify.
And a lot of people entered illegally, right? So a lot of people enter without inspection before they're 16. That still qualifies for Daca. So that's really important to know.
Yeah, and then the way to prove that is usually we use the school records. If you came in illegally, but then you have a school record that shows you're enrolled in a school, then that also works out. You have to have continuously resided in the U.S. since June 15, 2007, and then you must have been present in the U.S. on June 15, 2012. So usually employment records or school records or any sort of like third-party record that can show June 15, 2012 you were here. If you were a minor, we have also used documents that are from the parents. You know, if for some reason there is nothing but your parent had a bank account, yeah, or, you know, a lease agreement that shows and you were listed on the lease agreement, we can also do that. And then you cannot have lawful status as of June 15, 2012. No F1 visa, no tourist status or anything. You have to have been on unlawful status on June 15, 2012. You can be currently in a school or have obtained a GED or a high school diploma, or if you were also honorably discharged as a veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces. And again, this one is not have a felony conviction, a significant misdemeanor, 3 or more other misdemeanors, or otherwise pose a threat to national security or public safety. Those are the qualifications for the Daca program.
And again, we've done requests for evidence for every single one of these. So if you feel like I qualify, I meet everything, I don't know how to prove it, that's where we come in and help, right? But again, not just us, there's so many people in the online community who are here to help people who can get Daca. And right now, right, this year, with all the craziness, Daca is available again for initial filing and then for processing very soon once USCIS releases it. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the negative parts of this case. In this appeal, the Fifth Circuit straight up said that Daca exceeded its authority and the president couldn't have created this program, so essentially it is unlawful. And that argument is exactly what we've been hearing from ICE. So I've talked with a lot of ICE officers. We asked them, hey, somebody is on Daca. Why deport them? They have lawful status here. And they just shake their heads and say, no, they do not have lawful status here. They have a deferred action to be deported. But that doesn't mean they cannot be deported. And based on case law, the president exceeded his authority to grant this deferred action. So from all points of view, A prior president exceeded their authority by granting this privilege not to deport somebody. But the current president wants to deport them. And so ICE has almost every authority to do that. Now, arguably, we haven't seen them push that hard into this. And this case law, what we're trying to tell a lot of our clients is, but yes, that might be true, officer. Yes, that might be true. But based on the last line of this case, even if the president exceeded the authority, the case is stayed because it will cause a dramatic effect on society, because everybody relied on this issue, right? Relied on the Daca being approved to be able to live here, to work here, so society will be disrupted. So even though they might have exceeded the authority a little bit, but because if you reverse that, it will cause chaos. So we will see what and how this case unfolds. If it goes to Supreme Court, if they take away the stay, if Congress musters up the willpower to release a new law that actually grants a pathway to citizenship. There's so many talks on both sides of the aisle about this particular issue, right? DACA recipients, what should America do for them and about them? And right now, people who can file, who meet the requirements that we just talked about, you can file and you can get a receipt notice, and that is at least some equity that you can present to ICE, right? You don't have adjustment of status, you don't have anything else, but at least you have a DACA receipt, and that means a lot.